they were working.
So,
And I was by there day before
Probably wanna
yesterday, and it's
touch on that real
completely,
quick.
yeah, I
oh,
mean,
you,
it's just
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
huge.
you
so
want to
I need,
defer that, okay.
I wanted to talk to him about
Opposite
that. I've got
side.
some ideas.
Okay.
Apartments.
Apartments. Okay,
Right
okay,
next
so
door.
you'll
Yeah.
announce that.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay.
Think you're right here. They've moved us up.
Right.
Oh, okay. We probably need to get approval from the families
Oh, where
first.
that's right up the street. Yeah. And,
good meal
I know
Saturday
that
in
it looked like a
in
small
Walker
plot, but
County.
by the time they got through with it, it's huge.
Come on.
It's a big area. Yeah, it really is.
They're real proud of their food.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I want to go. We were talking about,
Get a
And it'll be right there.
I think
And
we're going to
yes, I was
Maria
gonna say, that's a very
Room to call the
convenient
meeting.
place for
bank loan before you get
them to
on.
be right there in the area.
And my grandson works there.
oh,
So he
really?
gets 50% off and even.
We've got five of everyone, right?
I believe so.
You'll have to
Yes,
take out a
according to
small one.
Maria, because of course.
It's real good food.
Well,
And I've got two friends, physician friends who live there.
Are we the five that are
So
here?
we'd been up there for long
Really?
before they had the hotel back. Rogers remember first.
Uh-huh.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to go ahead and call the September 16th, 2024 meeting of the monthly meeting of the Health, Education, and the Housing Facility Board to order. I would like to confirm that the meeting has been advertised, and of course, we do have a quorum present.
It has been, okay. Thank you, Ms. Manala.
Thank you. The first order of business is the election of vice chair for the board. Obviously, our chair is not here as well, so in respect to our chair, I would like to postpone this to the next month's meeting because I've got a couple of comments, but I think it's appropriate for our chair to hear. So I would accept a motion to have that moved to next month. Okay, a second?
Second.
Okay, so moved. Thank you very much for that. All approved? Approved. Okay. Moving on, I would like to have an approval for the minutes of the July 22nd, 2024 meeting, or any discussion that they were included in your packet for this month. Any thoughts, comments, questions about that?
Will we approve the minutes?
Otherwise, I will accept a motion to accept the minutes as presented for last month, for July.
So moved.
We have a motion here.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Unanimously passes. And the next order of business is I would like to recognize any individuals in the audience that would like to address the board at this time. Okay, please note that there are no additional folks wishing to address the board, so we'll move on with the first, I'm sorry.
Before we go further, I just wanted to introduce myself to
I
everyone.
apologize.
That's okay. I'm Harold Bryson, one of the assistant city attorneys for the city of Chattanooga. I know that you all are typically used to seeing Mr. Noblet here up on the dais during these meetings, but he's unfortunately been a little under the weather for the past few days. So he's chose to join us at the meeting, but he's in the back of the room and is available to answer any specific questions if anything comes up. So I just wanted to make everyone aware of that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I apologize, I should have introduced myself. I'm Richard Johnson, I'm secretary of the board, and obviously our chair, Hicks Armour, is out today, and we do not currently have a vice chair, which is what we were alluding to about an agenda item, but that will be taken care of next month, I'm sure. Okay, moving on, we have a lot of items on the agenda today, so let's go ahead and get started. Sparrow Chattanooga project refunding bond issuance is the first item of business before us. And this is a resolution authorizing amendment in connection with the Health, Education, and Housing Facility Board of City of Chattanooga, Tennessee, collateralized multifamily housing bonds, Series 2023, and authorizing issuance of refunding bonds. So if you would kind of give us an overview, then we'll open it up for questions, please.
Okay. Mr. Noblet briefly shared with me sort of the purpose of this amendment, or I'm sorry, this resolution. And I believe that the purpose is to maybe end, I think, some current funding. Is that correct, Phil? And then,
It'll actually be for refunding bonds here, and Mr. Moneyhunt is available here to talk to you a little bit about what he's trying to do. He's got a bunch of documents, I thought it might be good for him to at least talk to you a little bit.
okay, if you want to come forward.
Hey, my name is Jay Moneyhunt. I'm an attorney at Bass, Berry & Sims, and we're serving as bond counsel for this, the financing for this project. This board has been very supportive of the project, and so has the city, and we really appreciate that. As you may recall, last year we issued tax-exempt bonds to finance the project. Those bonds closed and were issued, and the project is moving along. We're now at the part of the project where they are closing their construction financing and locking in their permanent financing, as well as admitting the tax credit investor into the project, which will provide the additional sources of funding for the project to move forward. So the purpose of this resolution is to effect a couple of minor amendments to the existing bond issue that will allow the bonds to be remarketed and held during construction period. And then the second part is, once the project is completed, they're hoping to close on this amendment within the next couple of weeks, and construction will commence. Once construction is complete, the permanent financing for the project will be converted, and they're able to go ahead and lock in a fixed rate with the bank that's going to hold the bonds on a long-term basis. And so this would allow them to go ahead and lock in their fixed rate, and by approving the bond financing agreement that's in front of you. And so that's the purpose of this resolution, is to effect that approval, and then it'll allow them to convert the financing when the construction is complete. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yes, thank you. Again, when you said construction will start in the next couple of weeks, you're anticipating?
Actually, on the way here, we had a big group call, and they're hoping to close in 2 weeks on this amendment and on their construction financing and permanent financing and tax credits. And so once that closing occurs, they will commence construction immediately. And then I think they're projected to complete October of 2026-ish.
We should be leasing out spring 2026.
Yeah, spring of 2026, leasing out. So yeah, definitely, completed by 2026.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Secretary. Mr. Moneyhunt, you mentioned that the construction perm was coming up as well. What was the date for the perm agreement previously?
So we did not have a date for that yet. They had a letter of intent that they executed last year, but this is the actual closing of the permanent financing. This goes ahead and locks in the rate with the bank, and then that loan will actually fund and close upon completion.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Noblett, you
Yeah,
want to say something?
This morning's call also having several dates this week, actually, to the bond closing dates and the bond sale dates on there, so just let them know where that's going.
Right, yeah. So the bonds will be remarketed, and the interest rate on the bonds will be locked in hopefully this Thursday. There's a couple of approvals, like they're still waiting to get their building permit. There are a lot of things that are in the air that are required for closing. So hopefully they'll be able to price the bonds this Thursday and then close the remarketing of the bonds the following Thursday. If they're not able to get the permitting totally complete, it may push a week or two, but they're down to the last few items necessary to close.
Do the rates look favorable at this point here?
Right. Yeah, so during construction, the construction financing is actually a taxable financing that's provided by a bank. It's called a CITC loan. So the interest rate on that loan is actually prime -4. It's through a Tennessee Department of Revenue program that provides very low interest rate loans for affordable housing such as this project. And so the rate the rate on that taxable financing will be prime -4. Those proceeds will collateralize the bonds, and the bond rate will be pretty similar to that construction financing. And then when the bonds are converted, the fixed interest rate will be the long-term interest rate, and that's again a very a good rate that's a long-term tax exempt rate.
So do you have a contingency in the event that rates, which are understanding will most likely will be coming down soon? Do you have a contingency in there for that as well?
Yeah, they would have the option to talk with the bank. Once they lock in this rate, if rates go down, they may have an option to chat with the bank and see if they could adjust the rate between now and when they close the permanent financing. But the rate that the bank's offering now is actually a good rate that works for the project, and so they wanted to go ahead and lock it in so that there won't be any variables out there just in case.
Good for you. Okay, great. Any other questions from the board? Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank you.
your time and your sharing that information with us. Inasmuch as there any additional discussion from the board relative to this issue? Having said that, I'll entertain a motion to accept the board issue.
So moved.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
As for opposition, if there's anybody opposed,
Okay. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. The passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, next on our agenda is the Simpson Organization Market City Center pilot. A resolution ratifying the action taken by the chair and secretary for the execution of a joinder and First Amendment to Deed of Trust, assignment, security agreement, and fixture filing regarding a $20 million promissory note related to TSO Chattanooga Development LP payment in lieu of taxes agreement with the Health, Education, and Housing Facility Board. Now, obviously, this is something that has come before the board before. We're just looking for some clarification, so if you kind of bring us up to date on that, please.
Okay, so this is a ratification of a document that Mr. Hicks previously signed. I believe he signed it before the meeting that was held at that time. It's my understanding that part of the reason why there was such a rush is because opposing counsel really wanted to get this done. And I don't know if there are any specific questions, but Phil and I both have documentation about that. You should have received a copy of this agreement in your materials. Hopefully everyone has had a chance to review it. And I don't know if anyone has any questions. Mr. Noblet, is there anything that you want to add about the document that's being ratified today?
Yes, this is basically an amendment to the original financing agreements that were done in 2015. So we have one that we're way back on here. The original resolution that was passed authorizing this the chair and the authority or vice chair and secretary to sign any all papers, documents, certificates, or other documents that may be needed for carrying out the authority of the resolution. The resolution was completed in 2015 on a pilot. Same difference language is in the pilot lease language in 2015. It's already been amended one time in 2021, and this is just a subsequent amendment here just for hopefully a better interest rate.
Right, this is just a simple ratification, as I recall, then based on what happened at the previous meeting when we did it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good.
Put it back every 3 years or every 8 years now, or 9 years.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Noblet.
Yes, sir.
Anyone?
Secretary, I just.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have a question for Mr. Noblet
Yeah.
or Ms. Bryson. So for clarification, this is only an amendment to have the opportunity to improve the interest rate.
Yes. And the financing document should have been in your packet.
Yes, it is.
The leasehold deed.
Okay, thank you.
And all we're doing is just ratifying the action that the chair took.
That's correct.
I move we approve it.
Second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, thank you, that motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Okay, next item, Chattanooga Neighborhood Enterprises, our friends are here today. And this is a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Economic Development to enter into an agreement in substantiality, the form attached, with Chattanooga Neighborhood Enterprise and provide $500,000 from the HEB Affordable Housing Fund to continue programs ensuring availability of and accessibility to affordable housing, expanding access to financial resources, and empowering residents to advocate for their neighborhoods. So I would like to say this board has been very supportive of these initiatives. We have gone on record several times indicating that, and so we're happy to have you guys here today. And if you can bring us an update, we would certainly appreciate that.
Yep, thank you. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all again. So today I'm here because asking for support, $500,000. As you all know, Chattanooga Neighborhood Enterprise believes that the future of Chattanooga is rooted in the vibrancy of our neighborhoods and the prosperity of all our people. And so when we talk about affordable housing, you can't have prosperity of people without having affordable housing, but also importantly is that we can't promote home ownership as a wealth-building vehicle if neighborhoods are in decline and values are destabilized. And so for the past 38 years, C&E has been active in stabilizing and rising property values and revitalizing neighborhoods while focusing on helping people achieve stability in their homes, either through affordable rental or through home ownership. And many people can't achieve home ownership without financial education and counseling because they need budgeting, credit counseling, other sort of financial support. So C&E really works as a whole. We believe one part doesn't work without the other, and so we really work on both. So over the past 38 years, C&E has been a strong partner in the city, operating almost as an arm of the Economic Development and Housing Department, doing things that's difficult for the city to do, and C&E has stepped into that role. And last year, the city used to fund us out of general funds, and then they made a decision to ask us to come before the HEB and get $500,000 of support from you all. And what that support really provides is the creation of our rental units and the operation of ongoing project management. We currently have MLK right here on 624, which also has a pilot, is getting ready to open in 3 months, 24 units. We just broke ground on a pilot that you gave us on Bailey Avenue, 32 units, Lyerly Avenue, 16 units, and then you're going to hear about Milltown later on. So rental units, our down payment assistance program has been really successful. That was funded out of ARPA dollars. $1.5 million. We just got funded for another $500,000. We've helped 28 low-income households, families, individuals buy their first home with the $50,000 loan that they don't make any payment on at zero interest, and then they sell it, or they repay it when they either sell the property, refinance with cash out, or title transfers. And when you look at the demographics of that population, one of the things that really stood out to me was how many people, majority of people, were able to buy and they only have a high school education. And so when we talk about wealth building, where it's been proven that 1 year of post-high school education really improves your economic outlook. And so for folks that don't have that, to be able to buy a home and stay in Chattanooga, I think is really an impactful outcome of that program. The other, and then of course, then our rehab. We often don't talk enough about, I think, in terms of stability and sustainability of home ownership for many of our senior population. And our rehab program goes into dilapidated and unsafe housing conditions and helps people that don't have the resources to get a conventional loan to be able to take out money to be able to improve their housing conditions. And when I tell you that some of the deplorable housing that our community and our seniors are living in, I wish we had more money to be able to put towards rehab of these homes. One family, we were actually able to rebuild the entire house for it was in such bad condition, $100,000 went into that house. And so while one house may be expensive, it really dramatically improves the livability and sustainability of that family for generations to come. So again, rehab, down payment assistance, rental, creation of rental units, financial education is what C&E is asking for today.
Great work, and thank you for that update. Richard, I assume, are you here representing the city to affirm? I mean, I know the money's in there.
Yeah.
But Sandra, I mean, I know the city's firmly behind it and endorses it, so, okay, just wanted to make that clear to everyone as well. Any additional questions for?
None for me.
Okay, well, again, thank you for all of your good work with the C&E. We appreciate what you guys do out there every day, so thank you. Would you care to add anything, have any updates on that as well?
I don't, Mr. Nobley, do you have any updates from our office on this?
I think the city council has confirmed that there is $500,000 in your account for this issue. That's important, I think. And this agreement has been reviewed by our office as well here in connection with this matter, and it states what they agreed to do. So that's the terms that y'all are looking at this point. And it'll be an agreement that will be signed off by the administrator of housing from the city up here to make sure that that is included.
Thank you, Dan, and that is consistent with what this board has done in the past and what we endeavor to do as often as possible. So again, thank you, and thank you, Mr. Nomlet. Okay, having.
I better say for the record up here, I believe this furthers the policies of this board for low and moderate housing as well. That's one of the powers that y'all have as health education housing. So.
Okay, thank you. Okay, at this point, I will entertain a motion to approve rather the resolution authorizing these funds.
So moved.
Okay, a second?
Second.
Okay, all approved?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, thank you. It unanimously passes. Okay, next on our agenda, we have our presentation by Sandra Gober of the annual report of HEB pilots and affordable housing fund programs. And I would just personally, I know speaking for the board, thank you for doing this. Every year you kind of give us an update on past pilots, past really resolutions and amendments that have gone before this board. Sometimes doing it month in, month out, it's kind of tough to keep up, but Sandra does a great job and the city does a great job of really, this is kind of our report card for all of the pilots that we've had in the last year, if there's any issues that we need to look at. And I say this for the benefit, we have a couple of newer members on board, but this is a great way to kind of assess and really hold folks accountable, need be, hold the board accountable, as it were. And so thank you. And we have that packet here with all of the really pilots we've done in the past year. So welcome and thank you for being here.
You're quite welcome. I'm going to, again, this is the annual report, and it provides information on all of the projects, the pilot projects that have been funded, starting from 2002 up to present. And our role primarily in this is, in the purpose of the annual report, is to kind of give you just an update on whether or not the projects are in compliance based on what was approved through the resolution. So I'm gonna, let's see here. This is really a summary of all the pilots that have been approved from 2002 to present. Some of them carry different regulations or under different requirements. the initial pilot requirements, really the purpose of the initial pilot was just to get some some housing units in the downtown area. So the requirement was that the development had to be in the downtown footprint. And I'll kind of just provide an update or information on which projects fall under which requirements. And I'm going to sort of start with the most recent and then go back to the earlier ones. And so you can see from this is I think a good summary that provides you with the project itself, the developer, the number of units that are at particular income levels, the estimated investment that went into the project, and also the start and end date for the pilot itself. And you can see that to date, you have approved pilots for over 2,000 units of housing. The most recent, and each, again, pilot falls under a particular resolution. Recently here, the HEB approved a new pilot, and under that pilot program, the development will be based on the zip code and the number of units. And we have not, at this point, had any developers to apply under that resolution. Under this resolution, the requirement was that at least 50% of the units had to be affordable to households at 80% or below of the area median income. And that resolution was approved in 2016. And I'm going to just kind of quickly go through these. And if you have any questions on any particular development, I'll just kind of pause and take the questions. So these are the most recent ones. The Milltown Apartments, as you can see, that the resolution for that was just approved at the end of at the beginning of 2024. And on each slide, I'm sort of providing you information on the status. And when I say under development, that can mean that they have actually kind of throwing the dirt around. And on some of them, they are still working with the financing, as you heard just a little bit ago on a couple. So this is the Milltown Apartments, Lyerly Street, Bailey Avenue, and those three, of course, are Chattanooga Neighborhood Enterprise. Shallifer Point, this is out on Shallifer Road, and I know they are actually have broken ground and are throwing dirt around and doing site prep there. The AIM Espero, they were just here with the, sort of gave you an update on that themselves. The Maybell 2, that's a C&E project, and the development is actually it's complete, and I believe it's leased up.
2 units left.
2 units left. Reserve at Mountain Pass, that is a 240 unit development out in South Chattanooga, and they had they had a what do they call it? Not a groundbreaking, a opening celebration a couple of weeks ago, and so they are about 61% leased up. And you can understand that, just with the conversation with the AIM Center, the financing with the bonds and some of the projects, they have bonds, they have pilots, they have low-income housing tax credits. And in this instance, this project does have, the same capital stack, and therefore the units are leased. They're able to lease the units to households at I think for them, it's like 60% of area median income and below, so they're very, very affordable. Battery Heights, and some of these projects are new construction, and some of them were renovations, and on the summary sheet, I indicate which are new constructions and which were renovations or conversions. And this Battery Heights, the Campbell Ridge, they changed the name. It was a renovation, and it's over in East Chattanooga. And the renovation is complete. They had the final celebration on it last spring. Bayberry is a renovation. And on each slide, when the compliance status, one of the things that we do in regards to the gatekeeping on the pilots is each project, they're required to submit an annual report to us, which is really the rent roll. And we review that as well as the income of the tenants to ensure that the units are occupied by income eligible tenants and that the rents that are being charged are in line with the requirements. And so I'm indicating that the compliance status is that they are compliant. And on some of them, it says that compliant per THDA tax filing. Not only do they submit the report to us, but if they have low-income housing tax credits in the deal, they have to do a report to THDA, and THDA shares that information with us. Chestnut Flats it was also a tax credit. Patton Towers, they're in compliance. Ridgeway Apartments, and those were the projects that were under the, at least 50% of the units had to be available to low-income families at or below 80%. The majority of those units that I just went through, the majority of them are, because they have tax credits, funding in the capital stack, most of them are at 60% and below. Under this resolution, at least 20% of the units had to be affordable to households that are below 80% AMI. And these are some of the units. Again, the footprint under the Burke administration was expanded beyond the downtown area. And these include the Market City Center, 1400 Chestnut, the McClellan Building, View on 5th, and Passenger Flats, which was down at the Choo Choo. And a few years ago, they terminated their pilot because they wanted to convert the units to all market rate. So let me go back. So all of the units prior to the market, the passenger flats, at least, again, 20% of those units had to be available to income eligible households. And we do get the annual report and again review and ensure that they are in compliance. And under this resolution, this was the projects where the units had to be in the downtown footprint. And those projects are all out of the Walnut Commons year ends 2025, but we don't do the compliance review on these because these were prior to our department being involved with these projects. JC Towers, this is a pilot project, but the pilot was actually navigated by Chattanooga Housing Authority. I don't believe they had to come to the HEB to get approval for that pilot. In addition to the pilot, just want to also give you the annual update on the Affordable Housing Fund. And that's it. That is the fund in which CNE has just requested the $500,000, and the HEB has approved a request under that fund. And this is this is a summary of those requests over the last 5 years. And the majority of them, starting with the Housing Authority, all of those are complete with the exception of the CNE construction on East ML King.
Well, great. Thank you. I'm sorry, did you have more?
So, and do you have any questions or?
Yeah, well, just a couple of comments. First of all, thank you. I think everyone can see by the summary of projects that the city has been very busy, and so has this board. I would also like to go on record as thanking Maria, Manella, and Phil Noblet, who have given us steady leadership and guidance and advice every step of the way. We haven't always agreed with everything that's come before us, but we've really tried to look at it openly and come up with the best solutions. We think it's a great investment in the city, and to me, it's a public-private partnership working at its best, and that's something that Chattanooga does very well, I think, and I think all of us are very proud to have been a part of that. So any other questions, thoughts, comments?
Secretary, I have a question for Ms. Gober, please. You were referring to some of the gatekeeping. And that you may or may not be able to answer this question, but just curious how prospective tenants are able to find out the information on if that property is maxed out for below the AMI, or how that's marketed to prospective tenants.
Each unit, they do their own marketing, and in their marketing, they indicate that, X number of units are available at this restrictive rent or income. Those units are always filled.
They are.
And we internally, we get calls, a lot of calls from individuals looking for affordable units, and we can give them the list and the number of the development. And again, indicating, to them that we don't dictate and don't control the wait list for the developments or anything. We provide the assistance, and we, ensure that they are adhering to the requirements, but they do have to kind of contact the development themselves.
Sure. Thank you. That's very helpful.
Also, I'd like to thank you. I'd also, just to confirm that all of these projects are in compliance.
Yes.
Well, that hasn't always been the case, so thanks for the city's role in enforcing that. We've always felt that was very important, so thank you for that also. Any additional thoughts, comments?
I believe Mr. Noblet
Yeah,
would like to add something.
Thank you again for all you've done to keep us on the straight and narrow.
I will try. I was not involved initially whenever the first resolution of the downtown projects was put in 2002, at least with the board. But I was noticing on here, Sandra, it looks like at this point in time, all of those projects, including Walnut Commons, will be going off in 2025, but they're back on the tax rolls. Is that correct? For full freight?
Yeah, that one I'm not sure, Bill.
Yes. So as soon as 2025 comes through, at least we will repeat that. So the value of those investments in downtown Chattanooga are now fully paid, the 100%, not just payment in lieu of tax. So that's a good thing for the city.
Okay. Okay, well, again, thank you. Thank you to the city. Thank you, Bill, Maria, and thank you to the board for that. So, okay, moving on, under other business discussion, we have an update from Martina and Attorney Kurt Ferris on the EPA brownfield remediation on 12 of the 34 pilot units for Milltown due to lead contamination and replatting. So
Thanks for the update. Counselor, good afternoon.
All right, good afternoon. As Mr. Johnson said, my name is Kurt Ferris. I'm with the Chambliss Law Firm, and we handle the pilot tax abatement work for Chattanooga Neighborhood Enterprises. I'm probably the only party that comes before you today that's asking you to agree to give us less than you previously agreed to. So I'll explain what we mean by that. But basically, the Milltown project, which was approved earlier in 2024, is on multiple contiguous parcels between 17th and 18th Street. And it sometimes happens, you know, when it's not a greenfield site, it has come to our attention that some additional environmental remediation needs to occur. And fortunately, the EPA has agreed to do that at their expense. So that's good for C&E. The project was 34 units total in multiple buildings. And the land that is on hold because of this involves 12 of the 34. So the pilot agreement, which was previously approved, said that everything would be completed and online within 24 months from the date of the agreement. Because of this new development, the 12 units are on hold, but it's C&E's intention to go ahead and build those out as soon as they get the green light on the land, on the underlying real estate. So the request today, we're not asking, the original pilot term was 20 years. And as I said, it may be beyond 2 years before this construction's completed now because the start date's been delayed. We're not asking for 20 years for these 12 delayed units. We'll just take whatever's remaining, you know, which theoretically could be 18 or 19 years instead of 20. And that's what I meant by we're asking for slightly less. So this is largely informative. We're certainly not asking for any more, but to let you know that 12 of the 34 here will come online later than originally anticipated and beyond the 24-month window. So I've talked to Mr. Noblet, and what we would propose is just adding a sentence, an amendment. It could be handled many ways. But for example, saying that it's understood that that 12 units will be late and that they will just be subject to the remaining period of the existing pilot. And if I didn't say that clearly, I'm happy to try and restate it.
Do you have any idea how late? I know it's probably difficult to say, but.
We've spoken to an environmental attorney. We can venture a guess. This is Jake Toner, who's also with C&E.
Hello, thank you all for having us. We can guess, but the cleanup will happen on the schedule of a federal organization. It's not dependent on us at all. So we've asked if they can to speed it up and put us on a higher priority list, but we can't influence that at all. So it's kind of an opaque answer. But they told us they would try and move it up, and they have on the other project, one of the other two projects that are already started. They did move it up and got the Bailey project scraped, and did everything ahead of schedule for us. At this time, they can't give us a hard date though.
Okay, thank you. What a surprise from the feds, they could not do that.
You know, with all the disclaimers that you can't hold us to that, I mean, 1 to 2 years might be a reasonable guess, but
Okay.
we're not thinking we'll be having this conversation in 15 years.
Okay. I was going to say,
Y'all
Mr.
are not asking to extend the pilot period then?
Correct. No terms change except that it'll take more than 24 months for 12 of the 34 units.
Right. But there will need to be some amended language approved by this body.
Yeah, okay. I know, to my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, we don't have a precedent for this, but this certainly sounds very reasonable because this is certainly something beyond their control. And is that?
Yes, sir. It's
Yeah.
also a lot safer for those folks that will
Right, right.
give those units as well.
Yeah, okay.
And C&E is not having to pay for the remediation.
Right. That's a good thing. Any comments, thoughts, questions? Well, I would entertain a motion at this time that we extend
for those 12 units that have additional site preparation, for lack of a better word, to adhere to no faults of their own, that the federal government will be coordinating at this time. Should we put an up to, or just?
I just ask you, can you just say subject to the language that's approved to by the attorneys for C&E and the Health and Ed Board? We'll get that worked out.
I was just about to say that, so.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you. Is there a motion on the floor to accept that for that wording?
So moved. Make a motion that we accept the terms with the new language.
Yes.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The motion passes, and good luck. I hope it's sooner rather than later for you. Okay, the next order of business has to do with a report on debt obligation for the Erlanger Health System Revenue Bond Series 2024 in the amount of $319,410,000. So, who's giving that update?
I guess I did.
Okay.
In that regard, just the bond sale was completed here last week. It was something that they were excited that the rate of their bond indebtedness was good based upon the rating of the city and the county in connection with that. Here's the Health and Ed Board on that. And they were pleased to get that accomplished. So that new bond indebtedness will help them, at least in their financing, as an entity that is not a governmental entity now. It's a private entity here that came to this board, much like we have provided that same type of ability for Memorial Hospital here in town, and also Carthage, who they've asked for.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any thoughts, comments, questions from the board? Thank you for the update.
This is just information for the board. I think it doesn't require any action.
Okay. Any other comments from, I see a couple folks here that have not commented, to give you one last opportunity before we adjourn, so. Okay, with that, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved for adjournment.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Have a good afternoon. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
I'll try to get closer to you the next time around.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Good to see you.
It's good seeing you. Have a